Hello and welcome back to Paper Traders, a show where two average Joes try to beat the market. Excuse me there. I'm your co-host Eric, and I'm here with Danny Mack, and we are here today to basically catch up on what happened last week. But first, I'd like to mention that we're streaming on Twitch, Ustream, YouTube, VK, LiveED, Vaughn Live, CaveTube, Africa TV, YouNow, FC2 Live, Periscope, and Twitter. God, there's a lot of
So
those
basically, if you can't find us, I don't know
not
where
trying.
you're looking. Yeah, you're
You're
not
not
trying hard
trying.
enough. There you go.
For the only show called Paper Traders. If you can't find it just under Paper Traders, look Zach's Paper Traders.
Yep, and just kind of a little background if this is your first time joining us. We started our portfolio with $5,000, and we're slowly kind of going through the process of adding stocks. We're bringing on some of our resident experts here in the office to kind of run down some of the, I guess, top ways of tackling the market. We had Shiraz last week. He kind of hit on a lot of the earnings stuff. And then the week before that, we had our CFO here, Kevin Matris, who kind of ran down everything from beginning to end of the basics of trading. So there's a lot to look back on. If this is your first time, stop, pause it right now, and go back to the first few episodes and catch up because there's a lot you missed. So kind of going from there.
We've got other news.
This week.
Yes, we've got a new show starring our editor here, Ben Rains, and it's actually an old show that we're bringing back because it was just so popular, which is Free Lunch, which is going to now start our block of programming here at Zach's Monday through Thursday, every day at 11. We will have a show for you, whether it is our show, Paper Traders, or Ben's show, Free Lunch. Again, he'll be tackling big stocks just like our former host did, and he'll be going into live questions like we do and taking on any sort of news that happens to come up, which actually this time around is actually pretty big. He's going to be taking Apple on his first show, so everybody knows how big Apple is and how important Apple is. This is kind of a big one for him to just start with.
Yeah, I mean, they are the last ones to report for the FANG group. You had Amazon, Google, and Facebook all last week kind of giving out the reports. A bit of I'd say most of them beat. You had Amazon was, I think, the lone warrior that missed. Although you do have Netflix, which some people tend to put Netflix in there as well. They had a little bit of a miss as well with some of their subscriber growth kind of plateauing. But let's kind of jump into those and kind of just review them. We have Amazon here that reported, and like I said, they're the ones that kind of missed. But in my opinion, that doesn't seem to be really impacting the way the company is performing. Just to kind of give an idea of what's going on with them, their revenue growth accelerated from Q1 was 17% year over year. And then they went on to do North America segments revenue jumped 20%, international growth 12%, and then the AWS services, Amazon Web Services jumped 37%. So they're continuing to grow. Not really seeing too much to worry about for investors. It looks like they just missed earnings. So I'm not too sure. That
you and I had a little conversation before we actually started the show about Amazon and how they might be getting too big. Taking on too much and getting into too many little facets of society. Are they, a web company? Are they an advertising company? Are they a store? Are they a grocery store?
Pharmaceutical company?
Yeah,
didn't they just buy into that?
I think they're trying to get into it. So, I mean, I feel like there's a certain point where Amazon's going to come into trouble in terms of them spreading their claws into everything. I mean, they're even in space, for Christ's sake, they're into everything.
That is true. You don't when you think of Amazon being in space, you're like, wait, they started as a bookstore, right? And so
right, and now they're sending rockets into space. I mean, so actually that's kind of where the story comes up. While you and I were talking about it, I've got the story up that says Amazon is the latest target of a European crackdown on the power of big tech. And it's kind of a real deal that people are starting to think that way, especially internationally. Here, I guess, it's an American company. We don't really think much of it. But it sounds like when they're trying to take on Europe, the Europeans are kind of having different thoughts about how big they should be able to get.
Yeah, I mean, there's a... I don't know. In my opinion, I just don't see them getting broken up anytime soon.
No, not soon, but it's coming.
I mean, they've been in so many different facets of industry, whether it's selling e-commerce or opening up their own
Logistics.
stores and actually having, a brick and mortar. It's
I mean, they pretty much single-handedly saved, the U.S. Postal Service.
in a way, yeah. I mean, now they're doing 1-day shipping, which
Right.
is a big thing. They've cut down from 2-day to one. Now, not all of their products are obviously going to be 1 day, but
So, I mean, their
um,
logistics alone have changed a lot of, the current industry and the state of e-commerce in general. The fact that they're delivering things faster than we ever did. I mean, I'm a bit older than you, Danny, but I remember being a kid and you'd put in for something through the mail or you'd order something and it would be weeks before it would finally show up.
very true.
Now I can get it next day potentially. It's
Right.
insane.
I mean, they've definitely set the tone because you have Walmart doing the same exact thing. They have 1-day shipping as well. They have a little bit more of an infrastructure, so I can see them being able to probably deliver more products right now for the 1-day shipping because they have all those stores that
Yeah,
actually
locally,
can,
yeah.
right. Amazon doesn't really have that. I think they go through a lot of third-party services, but I don't know. I mean, like you said, they've really set the standard to see how fast things can get delivered to you. I feel like every time I'm buying something online, if it's not 2-day shipping, I'm
not
depressed.
interested.
Yeah,
I'm not
I'm
interested.
like, oh, well,
There's
can I
got to be
get
a
it in
seller
the
that's
store?
got it.
Yeah. Can I get it in the stores or somewhere else I can go to get this product because I can't wait 2 days?
And funny enough, usually some of those products are pretty much you're just paying for the shipping. When it says 2 days, you see it's like $5 more. Like, oh, whatever, I'll pay
Yeah.
the $5. Well, there's your shipping cost right there.
And I'm okay with that.
Yeah, and I'm fine with that.
unfortunately.
Well, because
So-
it's better than waiting 3 weeks, right?
exactly. I want it, and I want it right now.
So touching on other news, you had touched on a stock last week, UAA. And recently on Zacks.com, there was mention of UAA, and the story was basically that UAA had come up and had earnings projections come up 2.6%. I'm trying to find it right now here on the site. Yeah, here we go. Developing markets distributes branded performance apparel. Yeah, we already know that. Company's expected earnings growth for the current year is 29.6% more than the textile apparel industry's projected 4%. So,
I'm getting excited about this earnings report. Like I said, if you've paid attention to our past episodes, I've put this in our watch list. It is a stock I wanted to actually add to the portfolio, but they had this earnings coming up, and I was a little uncertain to see how it was going to kind of play out. So that's happening tomorrow on the 30th. I really am going to be keeping a close eye on this because I'm probably going to want to add it depending on how the stock reacts. I'm pretty sure it's going to have a positive outlook from their earnings, but we're going to have to just kind of wait and see on that one. It's always nice to see some articles coming out with positive sentiment.
well, 29%, that's not a small number either. I mean, that's a pretty solid jump up.
Yeah, no, that's a really good solid jump. So I'm not complaining, and hopefully I can get a piece of it. I don't want to get too greedy or eager to buy into something.
Or it'd be too late,
Right.
waiting too long.
Right. So you want to play smart. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. But just before we get off of kind of earnings and everything, we had 2 other of the FANG kind of report. We touched on them last week. Shiraz kind of gave their kind of breakdown to see what was going to happen. We had Google also reporting they came out and beat earnings. Looks like 19% year-over-year growth on their revenue. Let's see what else they had. They had 16% year-over-year on their operating income. I mean, they're just growing. That's plain and simple. This company just doesn't look like they're going to stop anytime soon.
They're another one that's into everything, just absolutely everything. Phones, other technology, they had the self-driving car. I think they actually just canceled their partnership with somebody, though.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but either way, they're another company that's just kind of, as long as it has to do with technology, they're in.
Yeah, well, they're smart, and they got the cloud, so they've got so many different services, a little bit like Amazon, where they're going to be able to continue to grow and outperform, which is why they're part of that FANG group. Growth, I mean, that's kind of the name of the game with these guys. And then finally, you had Facebook come out. Now, they beat earnings, but I think the top of everybody's kind of mind was
That $5 billion.
Right. That was a lot of money. They were, I guess, lucky in a sense that they were only fined $5 billion. It sounds like a lot of money, but to a company like Facebook, I don't think that that really hurts them too much.
I guess we'll see. I mean, you got to figure that the earnings are going to be changed. In fact, why don't we look them up right now just to see what's going on with them, just to see if that news made any difference in the last couple days.
Yeah, well, I know it got kind of leaked about a month ago, but again, this type of thing doesn't take effect until they announce it, which happened a day before their earnings, which did help it a bit, but it did give back on Friday. Facebook kind of teeter-tottered back and forth about a 2%. So
down negative 3.6 as we speak right now. I'm pulling up their price and consensus chart just to kind of see if they've gotten
let's
a
take a
little.
look at that.
They went down a little bit there
Yeah.
at the end. It isn't surprising, I don't think, to anybody that they went down because of this news. But the question will be whether or not they can bounce back.
I'm sure they will. I mean, I think the big player was the whole privacy and data issue. That's been kind of on the forefront of everybody's mind.
And everybody kind of forgets that they
It was a big deal
own...
with the Cambridge Analytica kind of scandal, I guess you
Oh,
could call
totally
it.
a scandal.
So,
Totally a scandal.
I mean, that was a big deal, and for them to only get kind of that slap on the wrist of $5 billion, and you don't really hear too much else about it. It sounds like that's kind of going to be the end of
Well,
it.
and it might only affect Facebook. They still own WhatsApp. They still own Snap. Isn't that what they own? No, they don't own Snap. That's a different company. But they own what is that?
Snap
Instagram.
is just Snap, but they own
they own
Instagram, which is the
Instagram
next big social media thing.
Right. So it might just affect Facebook, but as Facebook looks like it's going, they're trying to branch out and find other things too. They're trying to explore crypto, which is, from what I've heard at least, isn't going very well for them. It's kind of been laughed at. But
what's it called? Libra?
I don't even know, to be honest with you. I haven't paid much attention.
I don't get the cryptocurrencies anymore.
Because it's just everybody's into it, and none of them really seem to have any sort of real credibility.
Well, I mean, it was hyped up. Everybody thought it was going to be this next big thing. It was great for third world countries where they didn't have banking systems in order.
Which it's technically working in India. India is working off that, I think, and Japan is integrating it as well.
All right, so it works in certain economies and
certain
countries, but
right.
I think it was the underlying technology. Everybody kind of figured out it was blockchain. It wasn't crypto that was going to be that next big thing. So I think people realized that and started moving their money in the right direction, because even big corporations are starting to implement blockchain. So I don't the crypto with Facebook, I don't really see the benefit.
No, not so much really. But who knows? Anything seems to go with these guys nowadays because they have just so much money to try anything and just toss it to the wind. So, one last news story I wanted to touch on, just because of the fact that I find this really interesting, because it's been pretty big news for a while, including Burger King getting involved and a couple other restaurants, but Beyond Burger.
Beyond Burger. That's the Beyond Meat?
Yeah, BYND, the stock ticker. I have no idea what to think about this company, to be honest with you.
Now, this is the plant-based burger patties. I've never had one.
Neither have I.
I'm not particularly interested.
Apparently, you're supposed to be able to get them at Burger King, I think, now. I think they're available now.
Yeah, I remember hearing it was a big thing that they kind of were advertising at the moment. I mean, everybody who's going on diets nowadays, I feel, are trying to cut something out. So, I mean, if you're going on that vegan or vegetarian type diet, this is a great way to be able to still get what you enjoy on a daily basis, which a lot of people love burgers, So to make a plant-based burger, in my mind, that's a win, but I mean, it's just not for me. So it's hard for me to kind of get behind it.
I'm actually looking up to see exactly what they cost right now, because I have no idea. It's $5.99 for a 2-pack. That's actually not too bad. I actually would have thought it'd been more. Yeah,
$5.99 2-pack. Okay,
from
Target.
Actually, at Target you can get it for $5.99.
But are those half-pound burgers? I mean, you go to the store and
it says 8 ounce. So yeah, so it's 2 8-ounce patties.
All right. Well, hey, maybe I'll try it one of these days.
Yeah, you know what? That's not.
Maybe I'll go to Burger King and do it.
We'll come back to that one. I'm definitely gonna try it, and I'm gonna let people know what I thought, because I'm not a meat snob, but I do like meat.
But the company's making waves. They're doing well.
They're tearing it up. I mean, this whole company, the whole idea of it is so huge, because of the fact that it's not even just for the fact of saving meat. It's more for saving the environment. You have these plant-based meats, and you're not going to be, farming and agriculture and everything else. So yeah, kind of a big deal.
I think it's a great stock to watch. Yeah, are we going to add it to the watch list, or what are we going to do?
Oh, I don't think so yet. It just IPO'd.
Just interested
it's
in
so high right now. I'm at the page right now. You know, it's showing that it's at 218.75 and it's down 16%. So I don't know if it's really worth watching yet. It seems like this
rank of a 3. VGM's not doing so well, so it's kind of a wait and see.
I feel like,
but it's interesting.
Yeah, you'd have to get into it during the IPO, and at this point, it's just going to be fluctuating and see if it can survive. You know.
Okay.
That's my personal opinion. Again, I'm just an average Joe who reads a lot of news, so I'm by far no professional. But yeah, it seems to be like, for me at least, that would be a momentum one that I wouldn't really want to play with yet.
Well, I mean, being new to the whole like stock market and everything, I feel like reading the news and just general topics, not even sitting on the financial websites, keeps you, I guess, intertwined with what's really going on in the market and the world, backbones in the world. Yeah, you learn a lot what's going on just being involved with the stock market. I didn't realize that you were going to be, I guess, this on top of things, because my next thing I wanted to mention is something I've never really thought about, which is Fed rates cutting the interest rates by 25 basis points. People are pretty darn sure that they're going to be doing that on July 31st. Which is
just a few days away.
Yeah, just a few days away. So I know a lot of investors are watching that. That's something to keep an eye on this week, as well as trade talks with China. That's happening, I believe. Is it Tuesday or Wednesday they have talks?
I'm not even sure. It seems like they're constantly in talks, and we only hear about it when there's some sort of movement. I mean, that's one of those things where there really hasn't been any sort of positive motion, it doesn't seem like, for a little while now.
Not for a while. I mean, it's been a back and forth battle, but yeah, it looks like on Tuesday in Shanghai, the two countries will be meeting for the 12th round of negotiation. So this has been, like you said, for quite a while. This has been going on. So I mean, again, these are just little things that I was never really, forefront on top of my mind, and now, just being involved slightly with the stock market and wanting to get a piece of the
stay
the
on
pie.
top of it.
Yeah, you're totally on top of every little bit that's going on in the world. So those are two just things to watch out for this week. Again, those are the Fed rate cuts and the trade talks. So that's a lot that just happened over the past 2 weeks. So yeah, I think this is a great time to kind of step into our.
It's time to go to the battleground.
The battleground, is that
it's
that
time
what
to go to the
battleground?
Stepping into the battleground, I'll tell you, looking at the portfolio this morning, not very encouraging, but not down incredibly poorly, I would say. Looking at the watch list, things that we were interested in, a lot of red. Things are still ranked pretty well. I mean, obviously, MJ doesn't actually have anything, but I mean, the VGMs are kind of looking rough. I'm feeling pretty happy that we didn't just add these straight out. So I'm going to take the first knock on the head, and I'm going to take a look at my portfolio and see what it's looking like.
I think you're going to be doing pretty good because there was a news story that came out. And there you go.
I am in positive condition, so I am going to feel pretty good about that, considering I thought I was getting my rear end handed to me last week.
No, well, touch on Disney, because Disney, before you came in here, we kind of touched on what is going on for their studio, and I read that literally Disney is setting records for the highest grossing year for a studio ever, which is insane because they still have 5 months to go, which is only a positive thing to kind of to look out for. And
well, I mean, let's face it.
Added it.
Yeah, that entire superhero universe that they just keep expanding on. I mean, they just announced something like 10 different movies. I mean,
they probably have these things planned out for the next 10 years.
Oh, probably 20 years.
Who knows?
Fred and I were just talking about, I don't even know if Blade falls into their universe, but like they announced Blade movies, a 10-series show or something. It's coming out 4 years from now.
Wait, Blade? Are they keeping Wesley Snipes?
No.
No!
No, they're bringing back the guy from, what was the name of that movie? Oh, man. He was in Luke Cage. He played Cottonmouth in Luke Cage.
I'm not
which
familiar,
was a really
but
good series. But yeah, no, so he's a really good actor and surprisingly looks a lot like him. So it's pretty easy to pass him off, I think.
Okay, good. So they're doing it in a good taste.
But 4 years out. So, I mean, they've got these probably planned easily 20 years out at this point, my guess would be. I mean, and the Avengers, I mean, they've just they're the highest grossing movie of all time, blowing out of the
Yeah,
water.
the most recent one wasn't
right?
that the highest grossing one in
Avatar.
general?
Yeah. No, I think
It
specifically,
just
the Endgame
overpassed
one.
Avatar.
Right, Avatar, exactly.
Right.
I mean, that was also due to the fact they re-released it. Wink, wink. You know, Disney, like, oh hey,
It's great.
come
It's
see this
smart.
really popular movie
You know what they did
again.
is I think they had some issues with people on the ending, so they had I guess a different version of it. No spoilers for me. I haven't seen it, so I can't really tell you what happened.
It's a good
Thank
way to
goodness,
milk those
but
extra dollars out for sure.
hey, I'll take it. Right? Wouldn't you?
Well, I mean, seeing as I did, it's looking pretty good. I mean, it's not a huge jump, but you know, I'm sure that news is just going to add up for me in the long run. So,
I
a
mean,
safe play. It was a safe play.
they still have 5 months to go. So to think that they've already crushed the record and still have almost a half of a year to continue this reign. I mean, they've got to have some more movies come out. Lion King just came out.
Yep, and that one's killing it.
I mean, do they have anything else that I'm missing? I can't even think off the top of my head.
They have the Little Mermaid that they're going to redo a remake of, which
Holy
is coming
crap,
out.
Little Mermaid. Are they ever going to do a Mulan movie? I don't know.
I think they actually are. I think I
Really?
actually had read that they are going to do the Mulan one as well. So
that was a good movie as a kid growing up. I like that one. You know, it
I was
one
too
of
old
the
for that one.
underrated-
I was too busy being a teenager and Disney at that time, I think.
It was a little underrated, but hey, there's plenty of movies. I guess stemming from that, if you think about the catalog they have of old school movies that they're revamping, they could do this forever.
Oh, yeah. Oh yeah, I mean, and they could take it all the way back to like their ones that they did original releases in like the 40s and 50s. You know, they could take it back to like Snow White, and they could take it back to Bambi, and I'm sure there's plans to do so. I mean, those were huge,
for all we know,
industry-changing movies at the time.
For all we know, they're already writing up, screenplays.
They're probably listening to us taking notes.
Yeah,
they're sitting here going, "Oh, dang, why didn't we think of that?"
Or they're redoing all the songs and stuff. Because I heard, or I didn't hear. I listened to an interview was it Donald Glover and a few other actors, and they were talking about how they got to recreate Hakuna Matata, and they had to like kind of do it in their own taste, and they had so much fun with it. So I can imagine maybe they're already in the studio rewriting all these songs and making.
I'll have to take my
hits.
niece to go see it. I think I don't think I'd be willing to just sit there by myself and check it out. I'll take the niece.
I don't know. Lion King is pretty.
We'll make a date of it, Danny. You and I'll go.
There you go.
Okay, so now on to the stock that I'm going to talk about today. It is CVGW, and honestly,
CVGW, what is that?
I'm throwing this out just to watch because I'm again reading news and everything else, and these are avocado growers.
Avocado growers?
Yeah.
Well, hold on. The guys who make the toast stuff, like
No, they grow the
millennials?
avocados. Exactly, it's a millennial play.
Okay.
People. It's not just been millennials. Pretty much everybody that eats healthily.
I mean, I love
with
avocado,
avocados.
but I mean, I'm not going to buy the $12 avocado on toast. But
Right.
no, they are expensive in general. I mean, you go to the store, they're a couple of bucks.
And these guys are the growers. And, I looked at it this morning and I was like, it's got a good VGM score. It's got a good momentum score. I don't know if this is necessarily a commodity play, but I know that avocados are also more expensive now. So, I mean, this is one of those things where I think that I'd be willing to watch for a couple days. And because the momentum score is an A, I think I might be able to try to take a risk on it.
And a strong buy. I mean,
Right, and a strong buy, exactly.
that stock looks really good.
It doesn't look like a bad choice, right? Like, exactly. I was looking at the other industry stuff. Scroll down here a bit. I mean, top 39%, 99 out of 256, so not bad. 50% of the Zacks, sector rank, so 8 out of 16. So it's like right in the middle. But being, basically a momentum play, I'm going to assume that I'll be taking a little bit of risk here,
Right, but you kind of bought a growth company that is doing pretty darn well in general. Like we just talked about
Right.
Disney killing it. So in my
I could take a
opinion, I
little
feel like
risk.
that's one of those stocks that you can kind of sit on and not have to worry about it too much. You don't have to watch it on a weekly basis or anything like that. It's more of like, oh, how'd they do for the year?
Right.
This might be more of a company that you would have to watch maybe on a weekly. I don't know. It seems like it has a bit of a price jumping up and around.
Yeah, it's moving around. I mean, it's going up, which is good. I mean, that good, upward angle, but it looks like it's hitting a little bit of a hard spot here at the beginning of 2019, which again would make kind of sense because that's when avocado prices started fluctuating really drastically.
Right.
And it's working its way back up. So I think that I'm going to probably get into this sooner than later and probably be out before winter comes.
All right, so you're just going to add it onto the list there?
I felt like there was a Game of Thrones joke there that I just couldn't get into.
Okay. Moving on, I'm gonna kind of bring up my portfolio here and take a look. Let's see. We added Square. We're still up overall on the gains, but it looks like it's down a bit today. Man, we were up almost 4% off of our first pick. So hey, not bad. It is down 2% or so today. So again, not bad. We're up a little. So this is a growth play. I feel like we're going to see this quite a bit moving up and down in this type of fluctuation. So I'm not too worried about it. I see great things in the future for this company. So
Square is definitely just going to grow. I feel like that's a really safe bet, even though it doesn't have a good momentum score. I feel like that's still going to be a momentum play. It's not going to move up as fast as something else, but Square is a growing company with a never-ending base of
right.
people who are just wanting to be able to sell something and not have to buy a whole point-of-sale system.
And I feel like right now, with a lot of these growth companies, they're starting to look beyond just the United States. They're looking at the international growth. That is kind of the key indicator for a lot of these guys. And they're kind of showing it already. International growth for the fintech services is just blowing out of the water. So for them to be in that, I feel like I have a bit of a safety net, but I'm again not too worried about this one. The growth is there; they're doing pretty well. So yeah, we're gonna keep it on and see what happens. But I did bring another stock to the table that I wanted to show here.
What you got here for us, Danny?
AT&T. So this is it, kind of going off of what you did for your first play. Is a safe play. Now it's sitting at as a hold. Its VGM is pretty good at a B. And it's value. So it's a good stock. It's not overvalued. It's sitting at, let me see, a PE of only 9. It's under 10, which is a great start. But what really, really got me is this dividend. 6% quarters. Are you kidding me? So in my
I feel
opinion,
like Kevin would get angry with you though. Look at that earnings ESP, negative 2%.
I know, but dude, the earnings for the dividend alone is just a little too enticing. And with the price action not being too crazy, as you can see, it's been hovering around the 30 to 34 range for the past couple months. It's not moving too much. So to have some type of security, I feel like it would benefit me to kind of start my portfolio off with a little bit of growth, with a little bit of a safety net with its dividends as an income. So in my opinion, I'm really liking it, and I'm pretty positive I'm going to add it right now to my portfolio.
Yep, he's going to pull the trigger.
Yeah, so here we go. We're going to show you how we do it here on Zax.com. We go here to add to portfolio. It's pretty simple. Then you go here and select yours, and it automatically just adds, right? So but what you want to make sure you do is you go into your portfolio now, because what we're going to do is we're going to add an allocation of stocks to this portfolio.
I'm glad you brought that up to show them that part, because I don't actually know, since we're sitting on this end, whether or not they actually get to see that whole play.
Right. So here you go. You can see it's been added, but there's 0 shares here. So what you have to do is go to the far right and hit the edit button. And today we're going to add on just 10 shares. Oh, that's the price. That wouldn't be smart.
Whoops.
10, and it's currently at 34.32. And we're not doing commission here. We're going to pretend we're on Robinhood. 0 commission, and we're going to save that. Now, I'm only adding 10 today, but I'm going to watch this stock and hope for a little bit of a dip. Again, I'm playing this as an income for its dividend. So for me, I'm not really playing it off of its pricing it as a stock, to go up. So I'm going to look for a little bit of a price decrease, maybe get into it and kind of price average myself into it to get a better overall price. But again, I'm feeling pretty good about this one. I'm happy with where it is.
You felt good enough to pull the trigger, so
I feel very confident with it. Yeah, I like it, and we'll see how it goes. Again, we're playing this all kind of slow and steady. We're not jumping the gun. We're not trying to get greedy here at Zax. So that was my pick for the day. I don't know how you feel about that, but I felt pretty good.
Well, I guess we'll figure out on Wednesday. Seeing as we have another show to make up, and we'll probably have to see what our guest has to say. So. All right, guys. So that is it for our show today. I thank you guys for tuning in. I don't see any comments or questions, so I guess we're gonna leave that open ended. If you have any comments or questions, you could always feel free to add them to our YouTube page under the comment section. Please be sure to subscribe also, and get into all our other shows. Like I said, we're gonna be bringing back free lunch with Ben Rains, which will be starting tomorrow, and that again starts our block of shows every Monday through Thursday at 11 o'clock. We'll have a block. Danny, you got anything else?
I think all I have to say is go like, subscribe, and comment. Just get involved with the show. That's what we're here for. We're just trying to help people who aren't usually in the stock market to kind of get involved with the tidbits here, and just learn to start to grow your money, make an investment, and start to do something positive with it instead of just sitting in the bank. So
And tell
that's
us if
about
there's
it.
something you guys want to see. We have a bunch of editors here and professionals that could come in and kind of give us their take on pretty much any market or industry. I mean, between a lot of this is actually a good time to pitch ZU. So the Zacks Ultimate, which is our all-encompassing system that basically comes with all our smaller packages. Basically, you get anything that Zacks has availability
All our
to.
trading service, we
Yeah,
have
all the
investing
services.
services, we have our research wizard. There's so many things out there on the Zax universe.
So it's a good way to get into it and learn some things about the Zacks tools. And with those, services and all those editors, we have accessibility to them. So let us know if you want to talk to any of them. I'm going to say, thanks for tuning in this time, guys, and we will see you Wednesday.
Bye.